If you've watched the first video that I made about Supercorp and how the show should either make it canon or just stop with the queerbaiting. And I made that video just before the interval or during the interval. I can't really remember. It was really long ago. This year has just been a complete mind fuck. Anyway, but I kind of waited to make another one because after the travesty of part B of season 5, I wanted to do another one about Supercorp and queerbaiting because it's just clearly that they are never going to stop. They're constantly going to bait with it, but never actually deliver. And actually recently, the reason I'm doing this now is because, if you're on Twitter, I guess you already know that that's where, various cast members or writers tend to congregate to condescend to their LGBTQ viewers. And this weekend was kind of bad. I mean, because we found out this week that, according to a writer on the show, that if we see something, that's our fault. It's not theirs for writing it, because that's not their intent. They're not queerbaiting us. Nope, they're not. That's us and how we perceive it. Huh, okay. So, I guess let's start at this point. That a whole lot of crap went down and things happened by people who have blocked me now, so I cannot go back and look, and also it will take forever to find screenshots. So, but the first screenshot that I have is with this dude, Jeff Thorne, the Thorne Identity. Nice one, dude. And his tweet is it's interesting. It's it's a reply to someone. It's a reply to someone. And he says, in a not at all condescending way, "I'm not going to convince you, but I will say this. For centuries, queer people have tried to impress upon us, the rest of us, that not all love between women is sisterly/platonic. I will persist to you that not all love between women is erotic. This show clearly presents both examples." Okay. First of all, I want to ask, how does Supergirl show us both examples of sisterly and platonic love between women? Because I gotta tell ya, Danson, I'm guessing this is inferring to, where, I mean, did they kiss once? I gotta tell you, in that scene where they're on the street and they kiss, I'm like, who the heck is Alex kissing? I haven't seen this woman before. Oh, wait. Sisterly. Okay, let's talk about sisterly, shall we? The way Lena and Kara interact with each other is not sisterly, nor is it friendly. I do not treat my friends this way, and I don't think any woman does. Gay, straight, bi, pan, whatever you label yourself as, that is not platonic. I repeat, not platonic. And there's countless references where they use romantic language with each other. Things that aren't said between friends. But, okay. we know this. I'm not gonna say more because it's kind of like preaching to the converted, right? So it's like pointless. Also, sisterly, right? Yeah, sisterly, a show that has one sister push the other sister just to date whatever dude she's clearly not interested in. In season 3, when Alex should have been the one who usually would tell Kara advice and they would converse and hash things out, in season 3, that fell to Monel. They replaced Alex with Monel. And then had these really uncomfortable, like as if this always happened, that this was like a daily part of their relationship when they were together, that they would, as adults, exchange ideas and thoughts freely without judgment. And then decide the best thing to do when, yeah, that didn't happen. That's always been Alex's role. You know those Danvers couch scenes? Yeah. Interesting. Supergirl is a feminist show and it wants to be. I've said it before that Supergirl is feminism wrapped up in a different package, but it's actually misogynistic ideas from, the 1960s and 1970s. Watching this show, especially when they bring in a love interest for like Kara, they did it with Lena and James. It's very much like watching those old movies, James Bond, 50 no's means yes. Everyone else is convinced they're good together. We see that there's nothing there. We see all the harsh words and everything. And the character isn't into it. You clearly tell it. The actor is choosing to act that way, right? And the director is involved as well. It's like the writers and the directors aren't involved. But anyway, okay. About, this dude is in the business. We have no idea about this stuff. And also, as queer people, we clearly have no idea what queerbaiting is. Please, straight man, just tell us all about your wisdom with queerbaiting. Also, queer, you shouldn't be saying that word, by the way, just saying it's not for you. Also, for centuries, queer people have tried to impress upon us, the rest of us, well, the best of you, is it? That not all love between women is sisterly/platonic. Okay, let's talk about this for centuries. Boom. For centuries, the romantic love between women was that thing that dared not speak its name. There wasn't even a crime for two women to love each other. There is an untrue thought that in the Victorian age that the Victorians were very kind of uptight and they couldn't even fathom that two women could even contemplate anything like that or even close to it, but that's not true. That's not true. It's not true. For centuries, gay men were executed, persecuted, annihilated for being gay. LGBT communities had to hide. They had to learn to decipher little clues about people. They'd wear like certain things that only someone else of their persuasion would understand. In different times, it kind of varied, and I guess in different kind of places as well. For centuries, queer people have been persecuted, but not just in the past. It's not like, oh, that's gone now. Oppression is ended. No, it's not. There are many countries in the world where still being gay gives you a death sentence. And you literally have the gall to write with confidence and patronizing intent that for centuries the queer people have been trying to say that all love between women is romantic. Now let's talk about this. that every single gay woman sees two women and we immediately think it's erotic. This shows how much lesbian porn you've seen, my friend. People are human beings, so of course that will be a thought occasionally. Okay? But that's not the driving factor. There are many jokes in the Supercorp fandom. I've seen them. They're funny. You know, oh, who gives a shit? I'm not going to be monetized anyway. You know, doing anal behind L-core. Those kind of things. Yeah, I just said that. Okay. To come out and say, essentially, that queer people have been oppressing straight people. We've been denying platonic sisterly love. Oh dear. Jeffrey Thorne. The Thorne identity. Let me tell you something. I'm somewhat of a history nerd. I love history, and it's a weird little quirk I have that history of I find the history of sex very interesting because it's kind of very common to think now that in the past they were very kind of uptight and very moral and they didn't do anything, and that was kind of wrong because they did. So I just find it really interesting to learn these things. Anyway, it was quite common for wealthier households in the Georgian to going into the Regency era, that in these wealthy households before a woman was married, there would be what was called a French maid, and the French maid and the young lady would freely engage in activities that were to prepare the young lady for marriage with her husband. So it's complex, but this was like an open, not spoken thing, because you have to remember that there was never really any stigma behind, you know, it seemed kind of common. You have cases in history of women living together, and it's now looking back, like for instance the ladies of Llangollen, like nobody really knows if they were lovers or if they were just really good friends escaping forced marriages and oppression from their families, and they were seeking freedom and friendship, and they had, but of course there's always the theory that actually they were more than friends with other people, such as, you know, the Tuans. We kind of get the more evidence that they were lovers, but those aren't just two isolated incidences at all. Like, so this this dude, Jeff Thorne, you know, who comes in sticking up for Supergirl and how it doesn't queerbait, and he's just queerbait-splaining to queer people whilst using the word queer and being really lesbophobic, right? So, I mean, it didn't end there. His, I guess, friend comes in, who's a writer on the show, and I forgot his name because he blocked me. I only liked a comment and he blocked me, like seriously, and I can't remember his name. Apparently he wrote the last episode that Win was in this season, so I don't know, which was a real winner, so well done, dude. Or co-wrote it or something, I don't know, I think I heard somebody say that. Anyway, so this dude comes along and he's not very happy, and like, you know, as I say, they weren't. He says that they weren't writing Lena and Kara as lovers. They aren't doing that. It's not queerbaiting, and they have no idea what you're talking about. Despite the fact that like Warner TV Twitter account frequently have used the hashtag Supercorp to publicize Supergirl using Supercorp gifs, various TV guide. There's just a whole shit ton of other accounts and that use Supercorp that are affiliated with the CW and what's frustrating is if this was just fans, if this was just a group of angry lesbians who hate all men and just want women to shag, then I could understand. I mean, I could differentiate between that and actual queerbaiting. I can tell the difference between the two things, okay? But dudes, you're queerbaiting. You're queerbaiting every single episode. In the episode where Kara goes on her date with William, she asks Alex which shirt she should wear. And Alex says, wear this shirt because it brings out your eyes or something. I don't know. I can't remember. This season, I slept through the second half of this season. And I think I just skipped. I skimmed it. I've fast forwarded a lot of things, and a couple of episodes my friend just downloaded and just sent the little parts she knew I'd want to watch, just so as I didn't have to watch all the William content. I'm sorry, it's like watching a tree. Anywho, it doesn't help that the actor is slightly hating of lesbians. Anyway, not so uncommon on that show. That's another thing, like the majority of the men on that show are just so crappy. I mean, that was the thing about Lex. He was annoying, but John Cryer is actually a really nice guy. And there's Jesse, of course. But the rest? Yeah, nah. Like, you killed Manchester Black just to bring William. Like, I know that wasn't the course of events, but I'm just saying. I liked Manchester Black, and he wasn't the bad guy, okay? He wasn't the bad guy. He was a good guy who was killing bad guys. And Jean killed him, so he was hailed the good guy. And the bad guy got the redemption storyline. Because that makes sense. I don't know what Supergirl does, to be honest. I don't know how they plot out their stories. This season has been, well, quite frankly, shit. I also saw that Susan Rovner was leaving Warner. And of course, we know her husband is the showrunner. And there's speculation that is one of the reasons why he was never sacked, because of her. Which doesn't really explain why Jessica Quala has never been sacked, because I don't think her husband is head of Warner or deputy of Warner or anything of Warner. She's just very bad at her job. Bit like Mr. Rovner. Those two people together single-handedly ruined Supergirl. Supergirl will always be that show that could have been great. It has had, because I think the time is gone now. I really think so. This interaction this weekend is quite clearly evidence that they know what they're doing. Then they won't stop queerbaiting, and they will keep on gaslighting. LGBTQ. Because, I'm not a Supergirl shipper. You know that. I see what they're doing. It's quite clear. But You know, it's really, this is what they think of you. This is what they think of you. And this is not just what they think of Supercorp shippers. This is what they think of all lesbian women. This is what they think of you. And I gotta tell you, that's pretty shitty. Because, you know, they'll use you. They'll use you to promote. They'll use you to get GLAAD awards because they're amazing and they're diverse and they tell stories that defy gravity. Only they don't. Their storytelling falls flat every single time. And you know, this whole show is the complete embodiment of that saying. You know, it starts with a bang, but it ends with a fizzle. It dies to nothing. And that's what this show is, because, you know, there are shows now coming out that are more bold, that are more courageous. I mean, I just recently watched, for instance, like Motherland Fort Salem, and the way they told that story was incredible. They weren't like, okay, so the majority of our viewers are going to be women. That's okay, let's be soft. No, they didn't. They didn't condescend, they didn't talk down. Evident in the last scene, in that last episode, they didn't hold back. They didn't spare your feelings. They were really brave and they went for it, and I admire that. And after coming out of watching Supergirl, where I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they do. To be honest, the show, they need to sack their showrunners. They need to get new writers. Because if they've got these people in the writers' room who believe these things about lesbians, it's no wonder that you have a lesbian couple on the show that has no screen time. It's no wonder when there's no representation for anyone beyond random beige dudes who turn up so that Kara can pretend to want to date. Alex will say, hey, you're really good together, he's really cute, he likes you, when his only skill is like buying coffee. Like seriously, his only skill, he bought you coffee, Kara. He bought you coffee. And who cares if he likes you? If you don't like him, don't date him. Jesus Christ. I give this advice before, okay? You can like people. That's just how life is and how things work out for you and who you're drawn to. But that person, you're not entitled to have that person like you back. If they do, oh my god, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool, right? Go for it, but you're not entitled to have them like you back. And if they don't, well, guess what? You deal with it. So either you just go away and you just don't bother them again, or you get that they're actually a pretty cool person and they're worth more than just wanting to eventually screw in the end. Because it's the bare bones of it, right? I don't really care. I'm just going to say anything on this channel because today has been a really shitty day and I'm just saying anything. I don't care. And that's the point. But in Supergirl, they brought in these characters who just kind of wear her down. They just dog her. Come on, Kara, you know you want him. You know you want him. And she's like, yeah, nah. Eek. I'm going to fly to Paris and I'm going to get my friend, these pastries, and then I'm going to Ireland to buy these things. Listen. You don't do those things for your friend. You do those things for somebody you want to impress. You do those things for someone. Like, you do those things for someone that you want to prove yourself to, prove that you care about them, prove that you would do anything for them. Sweet things. Like, most of the time you wouldn't do the things you do for a partner or somebody you want to date with a friend. That doesn't mean anything bad for you or your friend. It just means that that person just has this special place in your heart, and it's actually really sweet and romantic. It's not erotic. Lena filled Kara's office with flowers. That's not erotic. That's romantic. You don't do that for your friend. In season 3, when Kara had to save Lena, it was like, save the town or whatever, or Lena. And Lena was saying, just drop me, just save everyone else. And Kara wouldn't. When Mona left, she just went, meh, bye. Lena broke up with James. She was fine. Like 2 minutes, and she was like, who the fuck is James? Kara doesn't tell her she's Supergirl. And she turns into Dr. Dredd for a little bit. I really don't know how to explain to you what queerbaiting is. You're writing it. You're a writer. You intentionally write those things. Okay? I know this because you set out to write what you're going to do. Sometimes you fall into it by accident and it works. But you see it. And if you don't, other people are pointing it out. Not just viewers. People writing reviews, people in magazines, people... Fucking hell, the only time Supergirl trends is because of Supercorp. Like, these are real facts. And, you know, I know people watch these videos who hate Lena and hate Supercorp. And quite frankly, I couldn't care a fuck. Seriously. I don't care. It's a TV show. If you're going to be so hell-bent on hating on a TV character, I think you might need to get a life, to be honest. It's just a TV show. You know, and at the moment, and for the majority of the seasons, it's been a shit TV show. It went from promising in season 1 to mediocre in season 2. Parts of season 3 with Rain were immense. And I love the World Killers, and they killed them all, apart from Rain. And I still miss Grace, my little socialist world killer. How was she the bad guy? Seriously, she just wanted free healthcare for people, because she saw them dying every single day and they couldn't afford healthcare. Anywho, so it's kind of obvious at this point that as a show, they know what they're doing, despite their really weak claims of, we're not queerbaiting, we're just writing a story about friends and platonic women. Sure you are. And they will keep on gaslighting and being homophobic on Twitter and other social media because those evil man-hating lesbians exist. So I guess you have 2 choices. You carry on watching, with always the knowledge that they're not going to do it. They're not going to make them canon. So every time you get queerbaited, please be careful. Or you just walk away. Like a lot of people I've known do. Just leave it. Become one of the very many viewers who have just given up. Mid-episode, 300k viewers stop watching. That's pretty fucking bad. 300k, and that's general viewers. Those aren't shippers, like general viewers. When you lose your general audience, that's when you've got a problem. And views are down, ratings are down. The time slot, let's face it, it's not great, but to be honest, how do you expect to put a show like that at a good time? I mean, the fact that should Batwoman have replaced them? No, because Batwoman was crap too. Batwoman is just slightly better than Supergirl. And the only thing that redeemed it was Alice. So Supergirl is fucked. But, you know, if you can't write a show that you're passionate about, that you're proud of, that you can freely engage with viewers, you know, happily and embrace their passion for a show, then there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. You know how hard it is to get a seat at that writer's table? You know how hard that is? Like, it's really hard. And then there's like 1,000 other writers who would gladly take that one seat. And you're being a dick. So well done. And well done for queerbaiting. So that's the end of the video, I guess, because, you know, what more is there to say about this subject? Other than that, they're assholes. Okay, so that's the end of the video. And till next time, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.